Okay, 2 hot leads just came in today. One of them I just closed, and the other is in the process of closing, and he told me we'll probably close next week. So the first call I got this morning, I jumped on a call with a guy who reached out about wanting interviews for a logistics company. He reached out through my website. He found me through Production Hub, and he said he went with me because it seemed like I was focused in corporate work. He said, you didn't say on your profile that you did corporate work, but it looked like you did a lot of corporate work, and it looked like you were doing interviews regularly. And we don't need something super fancy. And a lot of the guys out there that I'm seeing in your area are like winning awards and making documentaries. And he's like, I don't want someone who wants to be shooting documentaries, but is doing corporate work to just pay the bills. I would like someone who's professional and focused on corporate work, and that seemed like you. So I was like, wow, okay. So then we talked price, we talked lots of details, we talked for like 15, 20 minutes, and then he said, can you just send me everything that we talked about and the price and everything that we already talked about so it's in writing. Send it to me, I'm gonna share it with the client, then we should be able to confirm by next week. So that really sounds like we have sealed the deal, especially because he reached out directly through my website, which I think is cool. Second guy, this is the gig. It's a pretty straightforward camera operator job and using FS7s. This is what I sent him, a very short message. I said, hello there, I think the shoot is right up my alley. I'm an owner-operator of an FS7 and I know the camera inside and out. I specialize in corporate documentary-style shoots and love shooting a good fireside chat. I also own the Satchler Flowcheck Active 8 tripod, so I'm familiar with that as well. Recently, I DP'd an event for Comcast that had interviews and a fireside chat. The A-cam was my FS7, and this is what the final result looked like. Whooshing! Took him to my website. I'm happy to help the team set up and tear down for the event. I'm available on August 14th. The pay rate works for me, and I'm happy to jump on a 15-minute call with you. Give me a call if you'd like to connect. Then, meanwhile, after sending that this morning, I decided I would give myself a little bit of a rebrand and update my portfolio and update my website. So I put 2 more pieces on my website, and then I decided to title myself Corporate Cinematographer. I was doing freelance cinematographer, but I'm realizing that people are actually looking for that word corporate. The guy in the first phone call literally told me that. So I'm trying something new here. I'm going for the title Corporate Cinematographer, and I updated all my profiles to look like that, and then I just put a lot of, I need to update that thumbnail. But yeah, and I've got lots of interviews here too, because that's what I'm pushing for. So anyways, and then while I was at it, I also updated my Staff Me Up profile. Look at that, Corporate Cinematographer. I just keep getting hired for corporate shoots, and that seems to be what they're looking for. So I thought, let's do that. And then ring, 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 I get a call from the Staff Me Up guy. He said he watched the Comcast video I did, and that's perfect. They obviously don't want something that fancy. It's actually going to be much simpler. But he said he looked through 30 applicants, and he thought that I was the guy. And by the end of the call, he said, you're the guy, we want to lock you in. So that's really cool. And I got to talk to him about why too. And he gave a very similar answer to the first guy, which is he said, there's a lot of talent in the Bay Area. Wow, everyone is so talented. Like everyone's won awards and they're all fancy and really high end and stuff. And he's like, but this is a corporate event where we're filming venture capitalists talking on a panel. It's not fancy. And I don't want the camera operator to try being fancy with the camera. I don't want him to be a super cinematographer. I want him to do the simple and basic things. I want him to lock in a nice shot and do occasional smooth pan when the topic changes from one person talking to another. So he was like, wow, these people are so qualified, but they're overqualified where I think they actually might complicate this shoot, is basically the conclusion that I'm drawing. So anyways, I'm just kind of mind blown because I thought there was advantage to being super cool and being a documentary cinematographer and just like showing your coolest, most artistic stuff. But at least when it comes to corporate work, what I'm seeing is that people who want corporate work are looking for someone who's professional and will give them a clean look and will have a good attitude and just be good to work with. And they're more interested in that than they are in super fancy things. They want you to do a great job and give them a great result, but it doesn't have to be as fancy as you think. It's just the conclusion I'm coming to. So I'm going to try this a little bit more. I'm going to lean into the corporate cinematographer role, because that's pretty much all the work I've been landing anyways, is corporate gigs. So let's lean into it a little more and see if that works. I don't know. Have you guys experienced this at all with these kind of shoots? I personally like corporate shoots a lot because I love taking the time to set up and light an interview. I love working with businesses and helping tell their stories. I think that's fun. But have you experienced this too, where it's not all about just having fancy artistic work, and in fact, fancy artistic work can be a turnoff? Empty car today because we are cam opping. This is the cam op shoot that we landed through Staff Me Up. We didn't get the logistics shoot. Our site plus another freelancer's site were sent to the client, and they picked the other person, and they didn't tell my contact why. So, I don't know. But anyways, I'm glad to be shooting today. We're working with this producer named Brooks. He seems like a real chill guy. He's been in the industry for decades, and I'm excited to get to know him. Our task today is to record a fireside chat that's going to be happening in front of a live audience. We're working with FS7s that are optimized to be tiny and efficient. Such a nice compact size.
Yeah, this is definitely this is the travel package, you know.
They're so cute, especially compared to my fat boy that's sitting at home. For lighting, we have two Felix P360Ss to light the stage. They're a 90-watt bi-color light. We didn't have room on the left side of the room for a light, because we wanted to leave that open for people who may need to take a phone call or something like that. So we decided to put one of the lights in the middle and one off to the right. We had the staff tune the lighting in the ceiling, but we really didn't like this look. So we tried one more where we had a light far on the left and far on the right, and that worked way better. The client had a banner they wanted set up in the shot. It was super wonky and probably took like a half hour to set up. But once we got all set up and we got the audio plugged in and the lighting all dialed, the final look really worked. This is the final setup. The ceiling lights plus the side lights make it really pop. And I just can't get over how beautiful these little guys are. Brooks gave us more than enough time to get set up, which turned out to be super clutch because there were a few factors, a few curveballs that hit us that made setup take a lot longer. But still, we weren't rushed, and when the event began, we were ready. So I'm manning two cameras, and I've got two angles going. The first angle is this wide, and the second angle is this roaming tight. They didn't want it too tight because they wanted the option to crop in and out later, and they wanted whoever's speaking to be right in the middle. The colors look a little washed out here, and that's not really accurate. It's just my iPhone angle. What they actually looked like was this, which I think is a really rich, vibrant, nice look. While I'm covering these two cameras, Brooks is roaming and grabbing lots of different angles on his DJI Osmos 3. The thing is so small and so subtle, he can really just sneak around anywhere without people really noticing. The client had asked us to clear out of the room as quickly as we could when the event ended so that there'd be more space for networking. So when it did, we just grabbed everything and chucked it out of there. We started breaking down gear, transferring files, and just chatting about life and business, and it was great. I really enjoy connecting with Brooks. He's a dad like me, and he loves it, just like I do. Two FS7s right there.
Just don't ask for any lenses,
suitcase.
all right? Don't ask for any lenses, or you're gonna be disappointed.
I love how efficient this setup is. It's easy to roll in with, easy to roll out with, and it's ready to fly with. The client was kind enough to provide us with valet parking. So while we waited for our cars, Brooks and I talked some more, and he told me about a really cool podcast that he has called the Pitchers Park Podcast. And it's for people who are fans of the San Francisco Giants. It's a podcast with 9-minute episodes, and it's pretty cool. I listened to one of them. So I wasn't surprised when one of the first things Brooks pulled out of his car was a Giants hat. And that's the end of that shoot. Nice and straightforward.